Assalamu alaikum. Sulaiman Rahim here. Welcome. Let's see if this happened right here. Oh, bear with me for a minute here. There you go. Sisters and brothers, this is Critical Analytics. It's a daily program that we're pioneering, and hopefully it'll be informative to you. Let me check a couple of things here. First of all, we're still working out the technical issues here. Okay. Correct a few things here. Correct a few things. There you go. Okay. That's better. Okay. And one more thing here. Okay. One more thing here. That's a little better. It's a little better. It's just a little better. Okay, that's a little better. So you're welcome to chime in. Send us a message. We'll include you in our list, and you can patch in, right? Link into Google Meet, and visibly and audibly make your case, make your statement. We only deal with facts here. No emotions, no conjecture, no let me see one thing here. Say this. No conjecture, no supposition, only facts, reality, mathematics, no superstition. So today, our topic, we want to deal with the most current events that are going on, try to look at it from a critical, analytical point of view, try to look from a mathematical point of view, a logical point of view, a rational point of view, even a scriptural point of view. We're coming at it from all angles, so we have a thorough understanding of what's going on around us. The three major issues that seem to be going on today, at least they're concerned with. They're not necessarily the major issues, but they're the majors they're concerned with, right? And one of them is the so-called critical race theory. Another one is this sister who refused to respect the flag. And another one concerns the situation over in the Middle East. So we're going to talk about these three. We're going to keep it short because this is the second part, the first part, we had a lot of technical issues. So instead of going directly live, we'll go live on Google Meet. You can meet us there, right? Instead of the other way we was doing it, YouTube Live. So we go live on Google Meet, right? And then from there, right, we'll upload it to Google, to YouTube. Okay, let's see if we can, what else we can do here. Can we, let's see what other options we have here. Ooh, what's happened there? No, it doesn't look like we can do that. I was hoping we could like share screens. Okay, that's a lot better. I don't think we can do that, share screens. That'd be a great benefit if we could do that. Doesn't look like we can. Options, settings, no, don't seem to be able to do that. So, well, we won't see it there, but when we see the version, so this version won't be able to see that, but the version that we upload, you will be able to see, right? You'll be able to see our screen. So we're going to go in and talk about, we're going to start off, we're going to play a few couple of videos. So let's proceed. So how do you, well, how do you, okay, once you full on screen, you can't get out of it. Okay, there you go. Okay. So here, so we have three different topics that seem to be very prevalent now in America, maybe in much of the world, but especially in America. As I said, one of the main topics is this critical race theory. That's what I talk about. So it's really bugging them. See? And this idea about this sister, now she's all over the world. She refused to respect the American flag. She's become a world figure. And that's really bugging them. I mean, if it wasn't meaningful, why are they so stressed about it? Why does it bother them so much that one black woman refused to salute their flag? See, that's the level of oppression that we're exposed to. The level of oppression, because they won't allow any sign of resistance to them. None. That's oppression. They claim you have freedom of speech. See, but oh no, well, in that case, in other words, they want to define your speech, but it's not freedom, is it? See, because in other words, they say when you can have it, when you can do it, how much you can do. And then the situation of the Middle East with Iran. So we're going to talk about these things. It's good, it's important to note that we're forced over here. This is not our country. In fact, it's not their country either. We're forced over here. And they're still forcing us to submit to their authority, submit to their rule, submit to their so-called culture. We don't want to do that. We're a separate nation. This is not us. Those are those that look like us, the demons. It is theirs. And that's right talk they talk. our country, our founding father. It was their founding fathers, right? Because Jefferson and Washington, that was their fathers through rape and everything else. So they speak correct. That's why they won't change their names because that's their correct names, and that's the problem we have because they're blinding us with that garbage because we think they're one of us, a wolf in sheep clothing, a wolf in sheep clothing, right? He's not there to be your friend. He's there as soon as you blink your eye, they turn you into lamb chops. And that's exactly what they're doing. Farrakhan's a chief demon who follows the devil. And that's why I call it a demon plague. We're plagued with it. Right now we have the energy to transform into a viable, powerful nation and take everything back they take it from us. But we don't have a vision because the demons are clouding our vision. They're distorting our vision. They're giving us their vision. So because the vision you have is what you bring into existence. We're all time travelers. And what you bring, you convert in time, right? You convert energy according to your vision. That's what time is, time travel. Someone's converting energy. That's what time's about. Energy, the conversion of energy. That's what time is. It's conversion of energy. If no energy is converted, there's no time. Everything's standing still. Time is a conversion of energy. See? So you can't go backwards. So what kind of energy are you converting? It depends on the vision you have. So right now you converting energy in the form they want, which is detrimental to you. I don't know how many ways I need to say that. The people without vision perish. See? Which one will win the war? Racism. Where's racism? That's another misconception. What's going on here? Let's see. That's another misconception. There wasn't any race prior to 6,000 years ago. It was all original people. It was divided into 3 tribes, but there was no race. Until Dr. Yakub brought something, a beast, that's similar to humanity. So I call it mankind. It's close enough, right, that it can be included in our species. But it's different. The Bible all tells you it's different. It calls it a beast. It calls all kinds of different names. See? Gog Magog, which is also Sodom and Gomorrah, America and Britain. And so that's why I call it a race. Because once they became, then it was a race to what reality would win, what vision would win, because they have a different vision than ours. So now it's a race to who's going to win that war Armageddon, who's going to win that war of visions, who's going to be the better time traveler. That's why it's a race. And that we're racing. Both of us are racing. See, if you say the language reveals a lot of truth. That's why I call it race is a race between these two, the beast and man. I ain't changed the date. It should be 6/29. Well, we'll live with that. So listen to this. We're going to play some of this.
The U.S. Olympian who turned her back on the American flag during the national anthem Saturday says she was the victim of a setup. Hammer thrower Gwen Berry won bronze in the Olympic trials and put a t-shirt reading "activist athlete" over her head as the anthem played. She claims organizers should have played it before she got on the podium and says the anthem does not speak for her and that she represents those killed by systemic racism. It's not the first time she's used the podium to protest racism. She raised her fist at the Pan American Games in Peru 2 years ago. Tommy, it seems to me this athlete is making this all about herself. She says that it was a, quote, disrespectful move by the U.S. Olympic trial organizers and that they deliberately played this anthem when she was coming to the podium to, as she says, make a point and sort of stir the pot toward her. Your thoughts? Well, they already made a comment saying that they had the national anthem scheduled to play at that time, so the fact that she was set up is just simply not true. But furthermore, imagine being a U.S. Olympic athlete and being triggered by our national anthem and feeling, quote, pissed and set up because that anthem played as you were going to the podium. If you're going to be a U.S. Olympic athlete, you should get used to hearing that national anthem, whether you like it or not. The rest of this country and your fellow athletes are not going to bow to your triggers. But furthermore, I understand that that is our First Amendment right to be able to protest, to have her freedom of expression. But is it really?
Yeah, she understands. She understands that, right? But see, anything after "but" is bullshit. She understands that, but either you have the right or you don't. But you shouldn't do it this way. In other words, but see, we have the right to freedom of speech, so they say, but they have the right to tell us when we can exercise that freedom of speech. So, see, you get it? Oh, you got the right to read the freedom of speech, but we have the right to tell you when to exercise it, how to use it, when to use it, how to exercise it. See, so it's bullshit. Otherwise, you either have it or you don't. It's free or it's not. It's free, then she should be able to say it anywhere, whenever she wants to. But, right? See, so let's listen to this fool here. Listen to her.
Too much to ask if you want to be someone that represents the United States of America, that you have just a little bit of.
Just back up a little bit.
Really too much to ask if you want to be someone that represents the United States of America, that you have. You should get used to hearing that national anthem, whether you like it or not. The rest of this country and your fellow athletes are not going to bow to your triggers. But furthermore, I understand that that is our First Amendment right to be able to protest, to have her freedom of expression. But is it really too much to ask if you want to be someone that represents the United States of America, that you have just a little bit of respect for that country that you're representing? It's not all about you. It's about this nation. It's a time of togetherness. It's a time of patriotism. And the fact that these athletes can't put that aside.
Time of togetherness, time of patriotism. Why the hell should we be patriotic to you? Why? What? Why should we be patriotic to you? Answer that question. Why should we be patriotic to you? Time of togetherness. It's too much to ask, right? Could you put aside that, you understand, and represent? Why? It was too much to ask for you to treat us with a little bit of humanity over the last 20 years. Was that too much to ask? These are fools. That's why I said this whole segment is called bullshit. All this bullshit. Because they say whatever they want to say, they don't like you. Because, oh, well, you have freedom of speech, but we have to tell you when you can use it, how you use it. And definitely can't use it against us. You see? That's what's going on here. Listen to these fools. I will play a little more of it. You know, I mean, your stomach can take it.
Just while they're competing for our country, you have plenty of time in your off time to be an activist athlete. But could you just have a little bit of respect for the people that fought and died for your right to even speak?
For the people that fought and died for our right to have. When did anyone fought and died the right for our right to have freedom of speech? We had it, but we came over here. We were the freest people on the planet. Then who fought and died for us to have the freedom of speech? Who did that? For our country? This ain't our country. This ain't even your country. I don't want any parts of it. We don't want to be any parts of you. We want to get the hell out of here. But we say, oh, we want to leave. Oh, why y'all teaching separatism? Because we're not part of you. We don't think you this great, grand, beautiful angels. We don't think you like that. We don't have a bother with you. We don't like your culture. We don't like your language. We don't like your look. We don't like none of the stuff you do. We don't want any of it. You're so stuck on yourself. Well, we're not stuck on you. Your demon children are, but we ain't. We have nothing to do with you. But you tell us, oh, well, why are you taking advantage of capitalism? No. Well, we hit you, drag you, what we're supposed to lay down and just die? Y'all full of it. Y'all full of it. See? She have every right to do what she do, whether you like it or not. See, we don't get our rights and everything from you. We didn't want to give you rights. We taught you language. We taught you how to walk upright. You know, well, I'll play a little more and then we move on, bro, because, you know, This kind of stuff make you lose your lunch if you're about in lunch. What happened here?
The National
No,
Archives.
hold on. We got mixed up here.
The U.S. Olympian who turned her back on the American flag during the
Hold on.
national anthem Saturdays.
How do we? No. Next. How do we get here? Okay, let me find where we are, brothers and sisters.
The National Archives Task Force on Racism.
Oh.
Of the Congressional Black.
Still. Okay, I was looking at the wrong thing. Okay.
Anthem when she was coming to the podium to, as she said, quote, pissed and set up because that anthem played, right? To be able to protest the country that you're representing. It's not all about you. It's about this nation. It's a time of togetherness. It's a time of patriotism.
Time of togetherness, time of patriotism. We don't want to be together with you. And we would be insane to be patriotic to what? To something that's been destroying us for 40 years, destroy our ancestors, had drugs over and raped us. We probably you see, you wouldn't do it. We'd be anybody, every nation until you'd be insane to do that. But they tell us, no, we're supposed to be patriotic to you. Why? Give me one good damn reason why. We're born here. We didn't ask to be born here. And you've been teaching critical race theory to our children for the last 40 years, that we were animals, we was no good, and we was wicked and ham and all that kind of stuff. Wicked, evil people.
And the fact that these athletes can't put that aside, just while they're competing for our country, you have plenty of time in your off time to be an activist athlete. But could you,
for your country, and it's not even yours.
We want to pause this. A little bit of respect to the people that fought and died for your right to even stand on that podium. Respect for us?
You see that? A little bit of respect for those people that fought and died for our right. This is bullshit. When did anybody fought and died for our right to have speech and all that? When? When did this happen? Oh, the so-called Civil War? Well, when they knocked that down, it wasn't anything about freeing the slaves. It's about competing with the slave. Come on.
It's too much to ask. And Jason, to Tommy's point, the United States Olympic Committee has said that they will allow athletes to demonstrate on the podium should one medal there in the Tokyo Games this summer. But the International Olympic Committee remains committed to enforcing their Rule 50, which prohibits demonstration on the podium. So if Gwen Berry wins a medal in...
They didn't start that until Carlos and the other brother did that back in the 60s, raised it. See, they ain't do that until that happened. It wasn't until then, right, that they made those rules. See, because there was protesting. See, they don't want anybody to think anybody protest against America. America's great, wonderful, fancy island, right? Naverva, excuse me, brothers and sisters, Nirvana, right? That everybody good here. The black folks, they love us. They love, they good little Negroes, they love picking cotton. See, they love us. We're not oppressing them. See, and we employing them, and we civilizing them. See, so you can't have any protesting because for the world to see, because everybody got to see us as we docile. See, we a conquered nation. We're not even a nation anymore. We docile little savages, and we're so happy to be here. See him on the news, see him doing their minstrel thing, see him always comedians on the TV just laughing and joking. See that? See, they're happy. And so somebody raised their hand up like that. Then they can have that rule. Oh, well, we can't be doing that anymore because they didn't want the black folks doing it. So now they tell us, well, you can't protest. Well, why not? If that's from her heart, that's what Second Amendment is all about, right? If that's what she feels, she's supposed to be saying anytime, whenever, anytime she wants to. That's what she feels. That's her conscience. But no, you can't do it. Right? If she was protesting, if she raised her fist like that and said, "I'm protesting to get China," they would have said a damn thing. Or I mean, I'm protesting because they're treating women bad over in the Middle East. They wouldn't say a damn thing. She raised her fist and said, "I'm protesting because they're treating the Uyghurs bad over China." They wouldn't say a damn thing. But you say, "I'm protesting because the American flag, they ain't no damn good. They've been raping us and cheating us and hanging us and all that stuff. Oh, can't have that. We can't have that stuff. No, we gotta put a rule. You can't be doing that kind of stuff." See, because you can't say anything bad about them. Because when they came up with this whole idea of freedom of speech, right? In their mind, they imagine, hey, they're so good. They angels, man. They God's people. Nobody's gonna have anything bad to say about them anyway. They gotta be crazy. So we're gonna a little bit. I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but this because I said we was doing this earlier, but I don't want to spend a lot of time with this because we kind of like got sidetracked earlier. See, let's move over here. Where's oh, here you go.
Turning her back to the flag. Globally, she will be, well, it will be
That's not our flag. Took our flag from us.
I agree with Tommy Lahren here, and to the athlete who decides that it's too much for her to stand and recognize the United States of America and the national anthem, then have the political guts to not participate in the games to represent the United States of America. Go participate in your backyard. Go to your YMCA.
Go back to Africa.
Hammer throwing if that's what you want. But if you're going to wear the flag, the United States of America, and represent us as a country, then you're going to have to be okay to put the red, white, and blue and listen to that national anthem. And if you want to protest, then go do that on your own time.
Go back to
But
Africa.
not while they're playing
Protest
the
there.
national anthem in front of the world.
And Kaylee, many people are saying that while they...
That's what exactly saying, go back to Africa. That's what he's saying. You know, that's what he's saying. Get the hell out of here. Well, you boys over here, and you put the flag on us. You wrapped us in that. We didn't ask to be wrapped in that crap. You put the cross, right, on our backs. See, you did all that. Made in America. We don't want that crap. Let's look at this one.
The National Archives Task Force on Racism, claiming its own rotunda, is racist. The rotunda houses the Declaration of Independence, the U.S. Constitution, and paintings of the Founding Fathers. The report from the National Archives and Records Administration, quietly published in April, says, quote, examples of structural racism at NARA include but are by no means limited to a rotunda in our flagship building that lauds wealthy white men in the nation's founding while marginalizing Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, women, and other communities.
The wealthy white, we talk about the likes of Jefferson and Washington. These were monsters. These people were monsters. And they talk about Adolf Hitler. These people were monsters. They were rapists, thieves, genocidal maniacs, oppressors, pedophilia. They was guilty of pedophilia. That's what these people were. They was raping toddlers, boys and girls. They had no restrictions. They could do anything they wanted to do to us. You see right now how they are right now, and they got laws. Even with these laws, what they're doing. Remember Jeffrey Dahmer on these people? So what they do when the law was on their side? When they could do anything they want. You had absolutely no rights, absolutely none. None. Zero. None. A dog had more rights than you. They would get more, you would get more grief from beating a dog than beating you, because you would get no grief at all for beating your ass. None. Kill you, rape you, feed you to sharks, alligators like they were doing. It didn't matter. They could do anything. Do you understand what that means? Do you understand? You can't do anything you want to a dog. Remember Michael Vick went to jail, right? Because he was beating up on a dog or something? That would never happen in our society. Because in their society, we're criminalized. You need to understand that. Because if you act on your nature, right, then you're criminalized because your nature is opposed to theirs. So our people, to get along with them, they suppress their nature. That's why it's suffering. They get hypertension and diabetes and everything else because they submerge, they suppress their nature in order to get along with these people. That's oppression. That's the definition of oppression. You can't be yourself with these people because if you do, you end up in jail or dead. They won't tell you like that. Like that sister, she been herself, right? Which she asked her to bring over here. She'd been herself. And she got to go along with us, man. She can't speak bad about us. That's oppression. She can't speak out. Well, you speak out. Well, we speak out in your backyard that we control. You better speak out there because then they call the police. She's a radical terrorist. These people are absolutely sick, and our people are terrorized by it. And a lot of them they struck with fear. They're paralyzed with fear. As said in the scripture, they wouldn't listen to Moses because they feared Pharaoh. It says, many said they endured oppression and slavery because of fear of death. Out of fear. They got you, they got you paralyzed with fear. So therefore you act other than yourself. And then then that makes you easy for these demons to manipulate you like Farrakhan and those guys. Because he ain't telling you anything that's gonna really upset them people. See? Because what he's saying right now, he says, well, he's taken and marginalized it, right? So he ain't against them. He's against the bad, remember? The qualified, the bad Jews. Everybody's against the bad Jews. Everybody's against the bad Italians. Everybody against the bad black people. Everybody against the bad. If they're criminal, if you're a Jew in jail, everybody's against you. If you're Italian in jail, everybody's against you. If you're Chinese in jail, right? If you're bad, everybody's against you. See, when he's talking, he ain't saying I'm against the satanic Jews. And you think he's saying something. Everybody's against the satanic Jews. Even the Jews against the satanic Jews. See? He's so good at manipulating your dumb ass. Because you don't pay attention to what he says, because it sounds good. Because he got you in an emotional state. Well, we're against the satanic Jews. Is that what the Bible says? Is that what it says? Is that what Jesus said? See? Everybody's against the satanic Jews. The Jews would tell you themselves they're against the satanic Jews. So he ain't saying a damn thing. Well, Farrakhan, he tough, man. He got balls. See, he give it to the man. He give it to the man, all right. He give his ass to the man. See, they done took his balls. He's disemboweled. He's number a 2-bit pimping punk. That's all he is, a coward. He's been a coward from the day he was born. He'll be a coward when he dies. That's what said. When Aaron got busted, what he did, he blamed on the people. Oh, it wasn't me, it was them. It was them. Please don't look at me. I just did. They said build a cabinet. I just did. It wasn't me, it was them. See? Because when the wolves hit the door after Elijah Muhammad departed, he burned the house and burned the house down and ran like hell. Went and hid. They had to dig him out. The brother had to come and get him. Why he had to come and get him? He had to go. He was hiding out there somewhere. He was out there hiding. And begging master to get back on stage and shake his ass. I ain't making up anything. You don't want to hear that, but it's true. Now, why in the hell, and then they always tell you, well, I love the messenger, and I love Farad. I don't believe messenger was the messenger. I don't believe Farad. So in other words, I love they liars, but I love them. You don't listen to that man? And Farad, he prays. Well, if he's praying, he's in God then. So we need to be praying to who he's praying to. Waste time praying to him. If he's praying too, and then when bring them into the NOI, that means they're not devils. He said, Elijah Muhammad said, remember he said, you shouldn't call them devils anymore. See? But he jumped the next step. See? Because first you got to stop calling them devils, then you bring them to the NOI. He wants to bring them to the NOI. Elijah Muhammad said there was devils, right? And he says that there should be no race mix. It's right there. We got the tapes. So he says, well, Elijah Muhammad told me don't call them devils no more. So he told you to bring them to the NOI. Is that what Lester say? But Farad said you got to get rid of them, all of them. So he said, so if they bring them in, what about the race mixing part? Well, they're your brothers and sisters now, right? So that means you can mix with them. They can marry each other, right? Do you ever listen to what that clown's saying? because you're not listening, and that's why your ass is going to burn. Your ass is going to burn. It says, I will judge my people. I will not let you go unpunished. You better read it again. Will not let you go unpunished. Why are you being punished? That wasn't why you was over here, right? Because they try to get you out of here. You didn't want to go because you're so afraid. The truth come to you and then you don't want to hear it. But you want to hear all this garbage. You didn't support the truth. How are you going to say you don't want to help build the ark, but then you want to jump on the ark, right? You don't help build it. So everybody's suffering and working and busting their ass to build this ark. And then you say I'm at a party and watch NBA and everything. And then as soon as you see the flood come, you want to jump on the ark? See, Noah had a good heart. Well, I'm not going to say good heart. He had they use the word good heart. But that would suggest that God didn't have a good heart. See, he had a compassionate heart. Well, God has a compassionate heart too. See, but Moses was weak on you. I put it like that. He would let you get on. That's why I said the God said no. He overrode Moses. Shut that door. And you didn't help build it, so you get on. You just go and swim. Swim. See, that story in the Quran, right? Noah's son, he begged him to get on. God said, forget about him, slam the door on him. See, Noah was weak for his son. His son didn't help do anything. See? So then he comes running. Then Noah said, so I'm gonna go to a high mountain. And see how dumb that is? Because if that was the cure, I mean that was the solution, then why did Moses spend all these years building the ark? Why didn't he just move to the high mountain? That was simpler. When sort of rain comes, move to high mountain. So the fool went to Mount High Mountain, they got drowned. The flood never happened, but this is figurative language. See? And the other thing is that if God's a spiritual thing that just does waves hand and everything, then what's he got against Moses? What's he got against Moses? I mean, what he got against Noah? Right? Because he gonna make Noah build an ark, man, work that hard, bust his ass building an ark. We can just lift him up above the ground. Put a circle around him or something. So he didn't like him. And then you believe that story like it is. He put all the animals on the ark. You know, if he took all, do you know how many species there are out there? He'd be a million years trying to do that. Every species on the ark. And then you need an ark at least size New Jersey, probably a lot bigger. Anyway, let's move on, brothers and sisters. But these, see, the so-called founding fathers, they tell us we need to worship. These guys are foul. And they keep talking about Hitler. What do we care about Hitler? Let the people Hitler did his damage to. He didn't do it unto us. We won't give a damn about Hitler. But they tell, oh, we got to worship Hitler. What about, but we got to worship Jefferson and Washington, who are worse 10 times, 1,000 times worse than Hitler to us. See? Because they say it wasn't even human. Oh, they became this great document. They wasn't even human. I mean, they weren't human because that's why you know a beast. How you know a beast? Because that's why he acts like a beast. That's why the Bible calls them beasts. Because that's why he treats like beasts. If they was human, they wouldn't treat us that way. If they were human, they wouldn't treat us that way. They treat us the way beasts would treat. That's why the Bible calls them beasts. Because they treat us like beasts. And their so-called founding fathers were beasts. Murderers, rapists, pedophiles. You hear they call butt breaking. They raped the men to break them. At least that's what they said they was doing it for. These people are foul. See? But we're supposed to respect them, honor them. Why? Would you ask anybody in the world to do that? Would you ask that you respect and honor Hitler? You wouldn't even dare do it, but you tell us that we got to honor Jefferson and Washington. Because we're nothing in their minds. They wouldn't even think of asking the Jew to honor Hitler. They wouldn't think of it. They wouldn't even come out there. But they tell us we can honor Jefferson and Washington. It was much worse because Hitler didn't rape anybody. These people raped us. And their own children that they produced or they raped, they threw back in the fields. Now you tell me these ain't monsters? Oh, but they came with this beautiful document, right? of the greatest, that's what she said, the greatest government type of government in the world, democracy. Like the Greeks wasn't they didn't have democracy. Like the Romans didn't have it, a republic. They voted, and all of them failed. And this is bullshit too. See, where you see in the Bible, right, that we're gonna have a democracy in the end. They tell you then, right? Ain't gonna be no democracy. You ain't gonna vote who your God's gonna be. You ain't gonna vote what's right and wrong. Because if you vote, that means you're compromising. That means a fool can vote. That means if the majority of people are fools, you got to go along with that. And that's happening in America right now. That means they can turn around and vote your ass back on the fields anytime they want to. I'm not even gonna waste time with that one. See, this is all bullshit. Yeah. So let's let's listen to a little more of this. And bring this to a close real quick.
End quote. Congressman Chaffetz, starting with you, you had a rather good analogy on this topic.
Well, I was on the Oversight and Government Reform Committee. I was the chairman of that committee for 2.5 years. It happens to have jurisdiction on the National Archives and our national.
We're gonna move past that
How
part.
is it that Bill Clinton, who started this
See this right here?
King Memorial, and one of them said to me, if you look at the memorial, how is it that Bill Clinton, who started this project, and Barack Obama, who unveiled this, how is it that they could depict Martin Luther King as white? They used white marble to do this.
These were demons did this. But it don't matter, he was a demon anyway. His brother, just like Michael Jackson, he's red and white anyway. And they didn't even have a black person do it. See how these demons do? I mean, you have black artists, you have black sculptors here. They sent over to China, let them do it. Let them do it. And they did it in white. Now, would you imagine, right, if they did in Washington and Jefferson in black? These demons, boy, they got you going, coming and going, brothers. They got you coming and going.
Now, how in the world did that happen? But you know what? Democrats created this. If you got a question and you want to get triggered by something, it is, if you look at it from that perspective, why is it that Martin Luther King is depicted as white? If they want to make a change and actually, and they used a Chinese nationalist, by the way, they sent the project to China and had a Chinese artist do the actual carving and putting together of this monument. It's unbelievable.
So let's move on to.
Looking for things to be offended by, and it's got to be mighty tiring to look at everything and find it to be racist or bigoted. But at the end of the day, when they're doing this constantly, when they're calling everything racist, I mean, every day it's something new that's racist, whether it's a food brand or Aunt Jemima, or they're looking to cancel somebody. What they're actually doing by naming all these things racist is giving cover to actual racists and actual bigots, people who are actually intolerant, because people are getting so tired of everything being called racist. It's like the boy who cried wolf. Let's focus on actual incidents of racism in this country and focus on those and have a teachable moment. But when you just go around labeling everything racist, that word doesn't mean anything anymore. It's counterproductive, it's ridiculous, and people are tired.
You got tired of calling rain,
so
rain, have you?
waters it down. There's no doubt about it.
Still
And
rain.
we also want to create safe spaces
Talk
in
about
every
every day,
single
still
AL
rain.
facility.
Yeah, you know, a safe space means that certain things won't
Here we
go there,
go.
certain things won't be talked about, certain things will be created, and what is the word? Oh, compromise. We're never going to discuss the things to bring us together, right? Because when you create a safe space for something, it means that you discount those things that you don't want to look at or talk about.
What if we don't want to be together with
That's
you?
stepping on our free speech. It's stepping on freedom of expression. And for what? What does that do? Like, who benefits from that? I want a place where all things can be talked about. And if we need to work on stuff like that,
No, you don't. You said you don't like what I said. What she's talking about. You don't like what she's talking about.
I didn't even know the background on that.
She be turning flag.
About the MLK and what the discussions were at high levels in our government among lawmakers about the fact that, yeah, he's not in something that could be seen as even neutral. They created him in a white. Is it marble? I don't even know. Is that cement? Like,
With this demon, you know, her father is, I mean, her husband is one of them, right? He ain't black. Put it that way. See, to know what her perspective is. She's a demon. She is a demon lover. See? So everybody there, you see anybody that represent really original people, you never see that on TV anymore. The last one they had did that was Malcolm. He ate their ass up, right? He ate them up. The last one, back in the 60s, they said never let that kind of voice be on the news or any place ever again. You never hear a black voice anymore. And you definitely hear Farrakhan, right? See? Because the thing is that I was like, well, are you saying he's a black voice? I'm not saying a black voice. What I'm saying is, right, is that he's got to pretend that he's one of us. You see? Because that Satan's thrown out, casting out Satan thing, because he's a Satan. So that's why he's saying, we against the satanic Jews. We love everybody, all the rest of them. We're against satanic. Well, who the hell are they? Tell me who those satanic Jews are that you so much against. Tell me who they are. See? Because they're full of shit. See? Because he ain't against any of them. But he got you down because you're sinful. You're wicked. That's why you're born to be punished. And we ain't going nowhere. That means Abraham covenant doesn't apply to us because we didn't come over here because, we sacrificed, we saved Abraham. See, we Abraham, see, we ain't going nowhere. That means you calling us a lie. You calling God's lie. You calling Elijah Muhammad lie. You calling Master Muhammad lie because that's the person, Master Muhammad came here to take us back home. And that's for Elijah Muhammad spent 40 some years, right, to secure that message. See, to prepare us for that. And you spend 40 some years just tearing it down. So let's listen to these fools a few more seconds.
I don't even think the public was given the space to weigh in on that. It's interesting.
That's right. Yeah, it is very interesting, and we need more communication, not safe spaces, in my view. Emily, I do think this is all going to backfire. I saw a poll out this week of those who know about critical race theory, 58% rejected. I think we're at a tipping point. Right, and I think those polls
That means
absolutely
42%
reflect that. They
accepted.
reflect the confusion and exhaustion and overwhelming tenets that we've all been citing here today, which is that when you're overloaded with it, overwhelmed by it, then it sort of ceases to take on that meaning. And I just wonder, when all of this is overhauled and when the whole country is righted and restored, quote unquote, and all our tax dollars are spent to create this perfect landscape, what will we have lost in the interim? What will have
Restored? You got a shot coming.
passed us by in all of those years of life that we will then have nothing to pay homage to, that will create nothing to learn about as our children keep suffering in public schools while they are forced to focus on this.
I thought America was so great.
Do you think
that,
Jason?
Go ahead, Harris. Yes.
Yeah, just quick. Were there any talks about what else they could have made that MLK statue out of? I'm just curious of how detailed did the debate get?
It could have been black marble, and I told them, I said, we're going to talk to that ultimately.
Well, we got to run. It's fascinating. We got to follow up on that. Thanks to everyone. Here's America Reports.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Oh, that's why I said let's. You know what I'm saying? It's unbelievable. But if you're in the dark, makes sense to you. So let's talk about this Iran thing. That I think that'd be pretty much it. We can close out.
White House and Pentagon officials say President Biden's airstrikes were necessary to protect American troops, but they are reigniting a years-old debate on Capitol Hill. There is now a bipartisan push to repeal decades-old authorizations for the use of military force, or AUMF agreements, which give the United States authority to take military action in Iraq. Jennifer Griffin live at the Pentagon Force. What's the latest, Jennifer?
Hi, John. Well, there are 3 AUMFs that are still on the books and that are in question. One passed at the start of the first Gulf War in 1991. Another passed after 9/11, giving the U.S. military authorization to target al-Qaeda around the world. And a third passed in 2002 before the invasion of Iraq. It's the second time President Biden has ordered U.S. airstrikes since becoming president. Some Democrats who were already pushing to repeal these decades-old AUMFs were irked by the White House decision to carry them out reforming Congress first. Senator Chris Murphy, a Democrat, tweeted, quote, "What we always worry about is that the United States slips into war without the American public actually being able to weigh in." Iran's proxy groups held a large funeral in Baghdad today for the 4 killed in the U.S. airstrikes over the weekend. Some lawmakers want to repeal the old Iraq War authorizations from 1991 and 2002. They say a new one is needed, but some Democrats say it might take too long for congressional approval to launch quick strikes.
Congress has that constitutional authority, but under exigent circumstances, you don't want to leave it to hundreds of members of Congress and hundreds of personalities to politicize this issue, to make it a hot-button topic while our enemies gain a strategic advantage.
The Pentagon says the president has the authority to call for airstrikes with or without a new AUMF. Quote, "As a matter of international law, the United States acted pursuant to its right of self-defense. The strikes were both necessary to address the threat and appropriately limited in scope. As a matter of domestic law, the president took this action pursuant to his Article 2 authority to protect U.S. personnel in Iraq." That from Press Secretary John Kirby. We expect to hear more from him in just a few minutes here at the Pentagon. He's having a press briefing that starts in about 10 minutes.
Jennifer, looking forward to that. Thank you. And the debate will continue, of course, on Capitol Hill. Shannon?
Iran-backed militias fired rockets at U.S. troops in Syria within hours of those airstrikes. Let's bring in former State Department spokesperson Morgan Ortigas. Always great to see you, Morgan.
Thank you, Shannon. You too.
So let's start here. This is a vow of revenge from an Iranian-backed Iraqi militia, quoted by the AP, saying, "We will avenge the blood of our righteous martyrs against the perpetrators of this heinous crime, and with God's help, we will make the enemy taste the bitterness of revenge." Doesn't sound like this thing's going to wrap up neatly.
No, and in fact, in all fairness, these sorts of attacks were also going on the last few years of the Trump administration. When I was working for Secretary Mike Pompeo, we were dealing with this. But it's important to note that Democrats were criticizing our campaign of maximum economic pressure against the Iranian regime and said that our campaign of maximum pressure, when we targeted Soleimani and took him out, but that was the reason that Iran was acting out. We now know that those criticisms were not valid. And in fact, the regime in Iran doesn't care if it's maximum pressure or maximum appeasement by the Biden administration. They're going to continue these attacks through their proxies on U.S. troops and interests in Iraq and in Syria, because they are a terrorist state. They are the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism. That's why they're doing it.
And yet we're now having conversations with them about the JCPOA or the Iran nuke deal. So how do we balance?
And America's not a terrorist state. Let's just unpack that for a minute. Then we go pretty much close this out, brothers and sisters. I mean, this is what I mean about bullshit. See, America is not a terrorist state. Do you understand the definition of terrorism? Google it. Terrorism is getting a means or political means, for example, right, by force. See, by violence. So how did America become into existence? How did we get over here? How did all this start? What was the base of all this? Violence. Violence against the native people here they took it from. Violence against bringing us over here and terrorized us for 400 some years, right? They went all over the country, or Europeans were all over the planet, terrorizing everybody that they ran into. They were fleeing Egypt, they were fleeing Europe, right? They were fleeing tyranny, because they was tyrannical against themselves. They was fleeing tyranny, fleeing oppression, fleeing disease, fleeing poverty. That's what they were fleeing. They had nothing. And everywhere they went, everybody had something. Everybody was living peacefully. No one was enslaving anyone else. Everybody was living peacefully. There wasn't any disease. There wasn't any poverty. There wasn't any tyranny. And they brought it everywhere they went. And oppression, terrorized everybody. And that's how they got this country. And what made America great? Terrorism, fueled by racism. See, because they got the right to terrorize everybody, right? Because everybody was inferior. Didn't belong to them. So that's why, because they didn't go and oppress each other. They didn't go out there and take each other's land. They came out with their Christianity. That was their banner. before they had the flag. Christianity was their banner. See? And they went forth with that, killing, maiming, raping, and slaughtering everything in their path. They was the first one with biological weapons. Talking about biological weapons. What do you think that was when they was giving the Native Americans smallpox? They're a terrorist nation. Read up definition of terrorism. They're terrorized, and when somebody fights back in self-defense, that's terrorism. See, that's their definition. A terrorist state. They've been terrorists as Gog and Magog. And we see the end of them. You see in them Sodom and Gomorrah. That's Gog and Magog, American Britain. That's their end. That's how they're going to end up. Burned to a crisp. This year, 2021. Watch it. Watch that JCPOA. Watch it.
Some say that these airstrikes are telegraphing strength, that President Biden is saying, listen, we're coming to the table if you want to have that conversation, but we're not going to look away from the rest of what you're doing. So how do you balance those things?
So that's a great question, Shannon. And part of me is hesitant to criticize the Biden administration because I know they're getting hit from their left on these strikes. And while it's important to show action, what President Biden and his team need to do is to restore deterrence so the regime in Iran does not empower their Shia proxies in Iraq and Syria to attack U.S. forces. So one must ask themselves, did these strikes in the middle of the night in empty warehouses that killed no militants, do those strikes restore deterrence? Well, clearly not, because the regime in Iran is continuing to equip these proxies and these terrorist groups that are attacking us. So while I am supportive of the action, I think President Biden and his team are going to need to step it up if they are truly going to restore deterrence. And one thing that they especially should not do is to give $90 billion in sanctions relief to the regime that is attacking through their proxies our U.S. forces in Iraq and Syria. And that's really, if you zoom back out, Shannon, to the bigger picture, what's so befuddling to me is in the JCPOA, as it currently exists, there are no prohibitions on Iran for their terrorist activity, for purchasing more arms, for their rockets and missiles.
You over there.
So we're
They're not over here.
$90 billion to the country that is already attacking us so that they can
You're attacking them. You're over there. They're over here.
It's totally illogical.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't make a lot of sense last time
Illogical.
we did it, and the number was even bigger. So let's talk about Iraq now, because that is a complex, difficult.
See, I reverse everything that's illogical. I said those who, just 1 second here, those who, Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Islam.
You're not live, but we're going to go live in a minute. No, you're not live, but I'm getting ready to cancel this out, right? We're almost finished. So the whole idea is people can come in, but they have to come in through Google,
Yeah, I can't. My
Google Meet,
yeah, she just
right?
got
So,
right. She just got me in. I don't know why my Google Meet never works. I don't know what's going on with that.
so we talking about right now. We're talking about this. If you got anything to say about it, let me finish playing this because you can't see it, but you should be able to hear it. So let me finish playing this.
Delicate situation and relationship between the U.S. and Iraq, and they've said this violated our sovereignty and we don't appreciate it. So where do we go from there on that?
Yeah, Iraq has been the leadership has been between Iraq and a hard place for a long time because they have us there. I believe we are a positive presence, but obviously Iran is their neighbor, and so they have to deal with malign Iranian influence for quite some time. So we are there. Our troops are there on a counterterrorism mission. We are there to make sure that ISIS does not reemerge and that it does not become a threat to the homeland. Secretary Blinken was just at countering ISIS ministerial working on this issue. And really, we've seen the relationship with the government of Iraq mature in many ways, right? It's gone beyond just counterterrorism to a normal bilateral relationship. I think it's important as we shift and pivot to focusing more on Asia, more on China, countering the Chinese Communist Party, that we still have a small terrorist in a small group of troops a small intelligence capability, small footprint in places like Iraq in order to counter the terrorist threat. But that's why I'm concerned that there are pockets around the world where these threats are creeping back up. You know, Shannon, in the last 6-7 months of the Biden administration, there have been no airstrikes against al-Shabaab, for example, in Somalia, a terrorist entity. And so we're leaving Afghanistan as well. And while I'm not necessarily overtly critical of that move, we've got to look, the Biden administration needs to tell the American people what the plan are for places in Somalia where there's terrorists and we're no longer doing strikes. What's the plan in Afghanistan? And certainly I would encourage them to double down on the responding to the Iranian Shia groups that are attacking U.S. forces in Iraq. Don't just attack empty warehouses at night. Kill a few bad guys. We'll support you if you do it. All right, Morgan Ortigas, always appreciate your expertise. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks, Shannon.
You know, she makes a great point.
Okay, did you hear any of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any comments on it?
That's a. I heard it. I could hear it.
Well,
I heard
basically,
it. It said that if they're strike they're in a they're striking where they at, in Syria or in Iran. I mean,
well, they
they're in
attacked was it Syria and Iraq. See, they're on the border of Syria and Iraq, and Iraq is
Right.
saying, "Wait a minute, we're a sovereign country. Why you?" Because Iran. See, the whole idea is. Let me. Wait a minute, I'm losing my.
visual.
Yeah, because the lighting is going down here. Let me see if I turn this on. That might help. Because I'm not going to help. Yeah, help a little bit.
Are you trying to keep from putting on lights?
No, I mean it's getting dark now here,
Oh,
right? So I was, so I was using sunlight. Anyway, Iraq is a Shiite country. The Arabs,
right.
but it's mostly Shia, right? That's why America is in there because they know they're allied with Iran, and so they really friends with Iran, and so Iran has people that help that's working with Iran,
Right.
so they're
Giving
attacking.
them
That's why they're attacking Syria also, because the whole game
right.
plan is eventually to corner Iran, then knock Iran out, because they got
Right.
Syria and they got Iraq. That's when they got control. They're trying to get control of Syria. They got control a lot of it, and once they get control to it, they figure they can close in on Iran. So that's what that's
Right.
all about. And so she's saying, well, they got to defend. America got to defend the truth. What? They over there. They ain't over here.
Right.
See, because in other words, if they defend themselves, they're terrorists.
Yeah, that's how it always is.
So that's the story. So that's pretty much that was said. There was someone in the front. So we'll talk about another time, because like I said, we're closing out now. Because we covered 3 topics. The one about that sister that says she's going to not follow the flag, right? And then this one about the critical race theory. And this and this one about Iran. This is the last one here. And so therefore, they said they said, well, Iran's a terrorist nation. Wait a minute, hold it. Have you ever looked up the definition of terrorism?
Right.
You know what the definition of terrorism is?
I haven't looked it up, but I know what terrorism is. Going in there and terrorizing somebody.
No, yeah, that's terrorism. But their definition of terrorism, their definition of terrorism is achieving your political goals or whatever by violence. What that make? How did America get all this? They're a terrorist nation. The Indians, they come over and say, come over here, we're going to give you America. We didn't say, hey, just bring us over here and we're going to serve you. They got all this by
Right.
terrorism. They took it from everybody, violence. That's the very definition.
Right.
America's a terrorist government, terrorist country. It's been from the very beginning, and they're going to call everybody as terrorists.
Everybody, right.
So that was the gist of it. So anyway, like I said, we get a close out. We've been on for a while. I was just hoping somebody would come in so we just see if this work, because I can't get it to work, right? streaming live because it just keep shutting down. Right? We tried it earlier with Sister Fatima, and it just kept. So the way to do it now is you can still come in through Google,
Google Meet.
right? And still because I'm in, and so I'm taping it, right? And so therefore, and if people can come in and we can invite them in, they come in, talk, whatever, right? And then we just upload it to YouTube afterwards.
Okay. So I don't know. That link when I'm out. If I hit the link, it's not letting me in on the link.
How'd you get in?
Um, she had to go in and tap. She had to go past the link, go through, and tap me in manually.
Well, maybe I might have had the wrong link or something. I don't know. I gotta check that, right? It should have been the right link.
It's a yeah, but she, you know how you hit the link and then you ask to join,
Yeah,
or
right.
it doesn't even. When I hit the link, it doesn't go to none of that.
Okay, I need to check that out and see what was going on. Maybe I sent the wrong one. I don't think I did, but I might have.
All right, so
Right. So we worked that out, but I think
no,
this
you
don't.
hit the right link because she used the numbers of the link, the numbers off the link, and she went and manually put me in there with the numbers of the link. But the link itself, like trying to hit the link, it won't send me to it. You have to go in and then manually put it in Google, and then it'll let you in then it'll ask you, can you join? So
Wow.
she had to go manually and put it in there manually.
Wow. Okay, we have to work that out because I may have all kinds of trouble. So I found this about the only way I can do it is just don't go YouTube Live, do everything else. Because every time, remember, I used to do YouTube Live, had all kinds of problems back months ago, stopped doing it.
Right.
And so again, that's the big problem here. So if I do it this way, right, I can still have people come in once we give them the link. They can still come in like
Okay.
you just came in, right? And we can have a conversation. They can say what they want to say and make a comment or whatever, right? And then we just upload afterwards. So that's pretty much it, brother. I mean, this is I think that's the
Okay,
last.
cause you keep snapping back and forth now.
Oh, it's fading in and out.
So you'll come in your face,
Oh, that's because of
like you
lighting.
keep going, like I can see you, then I can't see you, then I can see you, I can't see you.
That's the lighting. I, like I said, it got dark while I was still doing this. Usually have all the lights on,
Oh,
so it's dark
it's
now.
dark?
Yeah, it's dark here.
Oh, it's raining.
Plus it's raining and everything else.
It's raining?
Yeah, plus it's dark too. Remember, it's well, it's good early, right? It's only
It's over
5:30. 5:30.
5 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, it must be the rain then, because it's dark out there.
Like it's dark.
Yeah. So I
It's
turn.
dark this early.
Yeah. So yeah, it's dark.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still raining here too.
So
It's
that's
been
that.
raining for the last.
Yeah, because usually at night I have all the lights on. It's okay, right? But I have no lights
Right.
on, and I turn this light on right here. If I turn this off, you wouldn't see anything. Okay, so that's what I think we're gonna do it. I think that'll work. 'Cause you still, my voice is clear, right?
Yeah, your voice is clear here and there. Yeah, you just had
Yeah, it's just the
at the
lighting.
beginning. Yeah, but yeah,
Okay.
your voice.
Okay, so they're not seeing anyway. They just seeing what I'm not sure on that part anyway. So anyway, I'm going to close out. So that's where we can do it, and if that's where y'all want to do it, because I don't think it's going to work trying to have YouTube Live directly, because it just Sister Fatima was on. It just kept going in and out. It just messed up. But
Mm,
and then I even lost it because the whole thing just froze up. So I even lost it.
right,
But I was taping it, so I still got the tape version, right? But it's still
right.
it's still like in and out, in and out. I think this one will work, right? So like I
Okay.
said, so people can come in. If you send them a link, people come in and talk to you and everything, right? See, but the
All
point is,
right.
just won't be live. Be live between you and them, but it won't be live on YouTube. So, but you tape it and then upload it. So you still have a conversation and everything, right?
Right.
Like we're doing now. But see, you
Okay.
can't. I just moved where you can see because but you can't see what you're going to see when I upload it. You're going to see something
Right.
different because you're going to see like I use on OBS. You're going to see what you're seeing right now.
Right.
So they don't see me going in and out. Right? I mean, I could switch it over. In fact, I could transition over. Then they would. Now they would, right? Because they're going to see
I
you.
think your M was up. I don't know what. Like you disappeared for a little while, a minute, for a few seconds.
Yeah, because that's the lighting. So,
No, I couldn't hear your voice either.
really? Well, yeah, but
No.
I just transitioned, so it might have did that while I was doing the transition.
Oh, okay. Yeah, your M was up.
Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty much it. I think we'll close this out. Um, so, and like we're trying to work the bugs there because I see people are interested in doing it. So is that it?
White House and Pentagon officials say
Yes,
Oh,
sir. That's it. I'm over here still working. I'll be here. Shoot, I'm on several different ones. I'm trying to put my stuff together. About to drop one. She got me good. We're on one.
what's that?
Uh, some videos. I still was having technical. Just last night, I don't know. She got me doing it a different way now, cause my everything I kept doing, my recordings, my double downs, everything started. I don't know if I started getting feedback after a while. Something was just wouldn't let me. When I get through with the whole presentation, it was sounding good while I was doing my presentation, but when I got through the whole, it was, it was parts in there that was just, the recording was terrible and feedback and all kind of stuff was coming up. So now she got me just doing vocals and then applying the vocals and not trying to do the vocals and use recordings at the same time or on the same format.